All of this self-quarantining that we have been dealing with for the last few weeks brings up a lot of emotional issues for a lot of us. So we invited our friend, clinical psychologist, Dr. Howard Gluss, to come here and talk a little bit about how we should manage these emotions. Dr. Gluss, this is a marathon. It's now not a sprint anymore.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Lisa, for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. What I'm telling my patients right now is to imagine that we're on a roller coaster ride. You know, when you first go on a roller coaster, everything seems normal, and then you start to climb up, and then you anticipate this anxiety that's going to start to happen. Well, I feel like we're on that free flow right now. We're going around the corner. We don't know what's going to happen next. And that's scary for people because people want to feel secure. And one of the ways they want to feel secure is to know what's ahead of them. But the reality is that we're in the unknown right now. We really don't know exactly what's going to happen, how long it's going to take. So with that, we have to be able to let go of that need to know and just focus on what we do know. So one of the best pieces of advice I can give to listeners is deal with what's going on in the moment, that turn that you're about to go on. That's what you have to focus on. You don't know where the rest is going to go, but you know you're going to be able to make it. So deal with the day. Deal with the moment. But remember, at the end, we always get off that roller coaster ride.
Yeah. Let's talk about, I think a lot of people are dealing with this feeling of mourning, grief, not just, God forbid, if they've lost somebody in all of this, but also on a real kind of micro level, they're mourning and grieving kind of the life that they had, the ability to have freedom to go outside and do what they wanted and see their friends and go to restaurants, and that's just not happening. And I think a lot of people, myself included, are feeling a little stir crazy / grieving for that life that I had.
Well, it's very much like the grieving process. You're right, that like as though if someone had passed away. So a lot of times we're in shock, then we're in disbelief, then we go through depression, and eventually there's a sense of acceptance. So we're experiencing that loss, but I tell people, remember, it's going to come back, but we're not exactly sure how it's going to come back. So this is temporary. And there can also come back in a very positive way. So we're in the midst of the storm right now. So allow yourself the emotional space to grieve, to feel the emotions, to get frustrated. I tell patients all the time, why don't you just take the first 10 minutes of a session and just vent. I just want to hear you vent, let it out, and then we'll talk about what you're experiencing. So emotions are very important to, as you said, Lisa, get them off your chest and work through them.
The other thing I'm seeing is a lot of people are on social media because there's really not a lot else we can do. And, I at least am seeing a lot of people in my feed talking about how they're doing these great things and they've got these big home projects that they're working on and they're building their business plan and they're doing all these wonderful things. And I have some other friends that are like, I can barely get out of bed. Is it okay to not be accomplishing major things right now?
I think you have to be true to yourself to where you're at in the moment. So if you're in a place where you're feeling, as we said, the depression, the anxiety over the loss, maybe you're going through a more intense grieving process than some other people because of the work that you did or the relationships that you had have been impacted more. The best advice I give people is just allow it to be whatever it's going to be and be true to yourself and be authentic. And also know that, lean on those people that are being highly productive during that time and use those relationships as associations to try to uplift yourself. I get that from patients all the time. They say it's not the same thing. And I said, no, I know it's not the same thing, but it's what we have. And thank God we have that. So let's use it for what it is.
And then lastly, let's talk about the kind of some of the opportunities that have presented themselves since we're all stuck at home. I know you said you had a patient that is learning a new way of dating in this world, and it's actually becoming something beneficial to him.
Well, we had a great laugh about it today. I was talking to him and he said, he really wanted to date, but a lot of times he feels like he wants to sort of get to know someone. And he decided to go online and he went on some of these dating services. And he said, what's great is there is this assumption now that, I may meet you, Lisa, but I'm not going to physically get to meet you for probably several months. So I am actually being forced to get to know someone. So I thought that was great. I said, well, there's a way that we can bring something positive, that by the time you get to meet this woman, you're actually going to be probably really good friends. And you're also going through a tragedy together, a very difficult time, and that bonds people. So that's what I mean about being really creative with the time. There are other people that will say, no, I can't do anything right now. I think we have to look at this time and get highly creative. And I see people doing it, and I find that inspirational.
It certainly is. Dr. Howard Gluss, always great to see you. Thank you for your time and your expertise in this matter. I know it's going to be very helpful to all of our viewers.
I appreciate it very much, and I wish everyone an inspirational time. Get creative. This is the time to do it.